This way, good soul. So, with 9th of Av and the list of videos for the countdown, we had another one added through a comment reply with 8 days left. It was actually last night, but we're doing it early here in the morning. It's by Rodney Thomas, and it was immediately after I did the video last night. It was quite surprising. 9th Ave, 2024, sign into heaven with accompanying LDS church prophecy, utter destruction. So, Rodney Thomas asks, "Hey Travis, with your knowledge of ancient Egyptians, could you take a look at the Dendera Zodiac?" And then linked me to a YouTube video, which I instantly wanted to dismiss this whole comment altogether, because don't have me talk about other people. They are not the authority. I am. And so obviously I'm going to tell you they're wrong, because they are not the authority on the subject matter. They are puppets for something that they heard from others. Just like Mormons who do videos on YouTube, they don't know Mormonism. They're spreading the lies and misinformation of their puppet masters, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Just like Exfo Nevermos, who are the puppet masters for those who are not authorities in church history or anything Mormonism, because they too are wrong. They are puppet masters. So as much as they are more popular, they are cuter, they do better videos, they are not the authority. People need to understand, by my pursuing to become the authority, which was the natural consequence, I just had answers that the church was not giving me, and they told us, Joseph Smith is our founding prophet, Book of Mormon is the keystone of our religion. So, trusting that, I pursued the sciences to do the original research, because the prophets aren't telling us the answers. And that was unacceptable to me. Just trusting in the Lord is not enough, because the Book of Mormon makes it very clear you got to produce the results to find out if the word is true or not. You can't be led astray by spiritual witness feelings to deceive you down to the very pit of hell. And so, because I found out the truth, I can't deny it. Avraham Gileadi denied it, and his life is now in bondage to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, despite his contributions, which are wrong, nonetheless. But he betrayed his knowledge. And if you don't know Avraham Gileadi, then you really don't know this church very well, do you? It was September 6th, and that big old scandal. And so, because of that knowledge I have, I can't deny it. And I'm the only one with that knowledge. And having also studied Plato, I know that I have to share that knowledge. I can't hoard it to myself, keep it a sacred secret. I am duty-bound to share it, especially when that knowledge uncovered a plot to murder you. And so, because I know this information, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been trying to murder me and silence me and shut me up. And so immediately after I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew, Mormons, who are puppets of the church, were activated as sleeper cells to attack me. My life has been destroyed. Families gone, ruined. Friends abandoned me. The Mormons betrayed me. And yet I would not deny Joseph Smith as correct, and the Book of Mormon as our keystone. The Church of Jesus Christ would then insert more pressure, and I lost everything. My life, my liberty, my property have been destroyed. And despite surviving in this current location, I will not deny the truth. There is no reason or purpose for me to do YouTube videos to be critical of the church. I know they're false. All I'm doing is sharing it with you. Everything is ruined for me. And yet I still do videos to warn and save you. I have no reason for living. And yet I stay alive to save your life. And how do you treat me? So, yeah. All he had to do was say, look at the Dendera Zodiac. It is from 51 BCE, not 52. Is it a prophecy of a future event? That's all you had to do. I'm not going to look at that other guy's video. I know he's already wrong. He does not use science, especially if he's saying it's 52 BCE. It's 7th of March, 1851, that has the solar eclipse on there. So if he's claiming it was written in 52, the year before the eclipse, and the year before the lunar eclipse that was also on that Zodiac, then no, because that was known to the Egyptians far earlier. So no, 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 no. But yes, the ancients were brilliant with astronomy, especially the Egyptians. They're extremely precise with their calendars. And so let's introduce the Dendera thing first, to give the rest of you an understanding of what it is. Alright, so these are the kinds of things you look for. It is a bas relief on the ceiling of the panoas, or portico, a chapel dedicated to Osiris. So you need to know who Osiris is. He was the first king of Egypt, murdered by his brother. In the Hathor temple of Dendera. Hathor is the mother of Horus. That's why she's called Hathor. Mother of Horus. Wife of Osiris. Isis. She has dual names depending on how she is used. This is a temple of Hathor, the mother of Horus, the one who is to come back in the latter days to restore the Osirian rites. He's the Jewish Christ. And so, As I've been doing the videos, Joseph Smith is our founder. Joseph Smith was murdered after setting up the kingdom, the church, the temple rituals, and was murdered. He is Osiris. Prophecies have been fulfilled. He is Messiah ben Joseph in the Jewish religion, which again takes it from the Egyptians, as Osiris is Messiah ben Joseph, the forerunner, the founder, one who sets it all up, prepares the coming for the coming of the Christ, who is son Amen, Messiah ben David Moses the third. Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19, and then everybody else. Jeremiah 23 talks about him being a descendant of David, as does Matthew, as does many people. So yeah, Moses in and of itself comes from the David-Moses dynasty of Egypt, 18th. Okay, and so this was written, or this was carved in the Greco-Roman period. But there's problems with dating, and this is where you got to be careful of these guys. There are too many who have their Christian bias or Islamic bias who purposely dismiss facts in order to support their Catholic Church or whatever religion that they're seeking to destroy science with. Even Mormons. And so the controversy even has a name, the Dendera affair. You have a guy who's Joseph Fourier, who believes it's 2500 BCE when it was written. Oh my God, didn't you guys watch Stargate? Daniel Jackson makes it very clear you go way back in time. When will the scientific community built by aliens? No. Humans. Just further back in time. Come on, guys. Do your research correctly. And so, Jean Champollion, who deciphered the learning of the Greeks, language of the Egyptians from the Rosetta Stone, says it's a 4th century AD. And which, oh my God. I mean, it would help if we have those guys' research to see if they actually put stuff in there, you know, like evidence. And there are, because there's a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse on the carving. And so I don't care what they claim. And so even though a couple of people dated it to 50 BCE after it happened, nonetheless, and notwithstanding, the evidence has 2 eclipses, a solar and a lunar eclipse. 7th of March, 1851. That is factual. And so it's represented by the circle containing the goddess Isis holding a baboon, the god Thoth. He represents the moon. She is the husband of Sun Amen, the sun god at noonday, or the mother of Sun Amen. And so thus, sun, moon, eclipse, 7th March, 1851. This is established. NASA has a whole listing of all solar and lunar eclipses on the face of the earth from all time. So you just go to that chart and you refer to it to verify that there was indeed on the 7th of March, 1851 BCE, the solar eclipse. And it's pretty cool. It starts in the Atlantic and makes its way through the Strait of Gibraltar. And so the picture that I got for you is in Tangier, in Morocco, and shows that it was an annular eclipse. Or was it a hybrid from what I saw in the document? But regardless, it's cool. It's got a ring of fire. And the lunar eclipse is dated to 25th September 1852, represented by the Eye of Horus locked into a circle. And so it'd have to be the left eye if that's what they're claiming. Okay, so I'd have to do a more thorough examination of it to look for other evidence that would reveal clues of anachronism that would indicate a certain particular time period of when something was invented or created. And so, similar, I did last day or two talking about the Dionysian orgies. Those are found in Genesis and Exodus. In Genesis with the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and in Exodus with the house of Israel in the Valley of Salt Lake as Moses is in Utah, and he comes and sees that Aaron has erected the golden cow of the Book of Mormon. And the Mormons are in an orgy frenzy. It's the Dionysian rituals, and thus you obviously date it to the Roman period time when the author was living and wrote it. And so any claim to previous dating is automatically wrong, because there were no Dionysian rituals of orgies. And so then you'd say, well, it's all prophecy. No, they had different prophecies for that previously, because we have other documents that have the same prophecy, but it's a different thing. Trying to see if I can see what I can see on the scene of the scene. I'm not seeing it immediately here. I see Hathor as a cow next to Geb in the duck form. I see Pisces in that. Oh. Okay, let's blow this up. Yeah. Okay, that would be, that's, yeah. And good, yeah, I was right. Left eye for the moon, lunar eclipse. Good job. And yeah, it's in Pisces, just as Isis. Yeah. How cool. Sure enough. Yeah. Correctly dated. And there's another thing going on over here in the scales of judgment. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, there's lots of stuff on here. I don't know what they're thinking of just doing those two. So, the prophecy. So let's bring up the one from 7th. Pretty cool. It looks like an annular, but and notice it says 50 BCE on the stellarium because there's no 0 year, so it's technically 51. And yeah, it's on the back of Pisces, just as it indicated on the Dendera carving. It's on the back of the white horse. Mercury is also right there announcing it. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So he's the messenger blowing his trump to announce something. This is what he's announcing. Solar eclipse on the 7th of March. Venus, the church, also the wife, Isis, is in the high priest symbol. They're at the bosom of the high priest. And so she's a high priestess. And Mars, yeah, there it is. Mars is in Aries. Mars is the sacrificial ram constellation. Abraham goes to Utah to sacrifice his son, Isaac. Mocking laughter of Mormons. And a messenger appears, and a ram is then provided for the sacrifice. That's a date of prophecy given, which, because it's in the Roman period time, the Genesis author already identified in the Roman period time, not a coincidence. So yes, that happened during the Roman period time. The Abraham sacrificing Isaac. So yes, pay attention. It's in the Book of Mormon in the context of 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem in 597 BCE, which is 4 CE, no 0 year. So yes, astronomy is cool, fun. And so Mars is the husband of Venus, the inverted pentagram, thus Lucifer, the false prophet, the devil who founds the great and abominable church. 1 Nephi chapter 14, there are saved 2 churches, Church of the Lamb, which, yes, is Jupiter because of Aries, and the Church of the Devil, which is Mars, Lucifer. Jupiter is in Gemini of the Sun, who dies, and thus is at the loins of that mortal brother, who would then be resurrected in the latter days by his other brother, the immortal brother. And so Joseph and Messiah ben David Moses III. Messiah ben Joseph, Messiah ben David Moses III. because everything has to do with the church, because Joseph Smith said so. The Book of Mormon says so. 2 Nephi chapter 3. There they are. That's our religion. We're not Christian. Sorry to disappoint you, Mormons, but you got fooled by false prophets. You get mad at me for it. I sacrificed my life to tell you the truth, and you refuse to accept it and believe it. So, I've already done the videos. It was most likely on TWG, where the homepage would still have the playlist of the prophecies of your Christ at certain time periods. His conception with marriage sealing in the temple of angels of his parents, and then his birth, Ezekiel 17, parable of the eagle, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's the city of merchants, because that's where Oakland, with the trees that are the closest comparable match to the cedars of Lebanon, are. Cedars of Lebanon are used in Ezekiel 17 because that's where the Egyptian story prophesies of it. The Egyptians are the prophets, seers, revelators, and translators, as they created the language, of all of the biblical prophecies. And so, yeah, they're all talking about the same guy. It was Horus for the Egyptians, Emmanuel for the Jews, who is son Amen of the Egyptians. So it's all the same. Thus, the Book of Mormon is correct. Learning of the Jews, language of the Egyptians, pre-Babylonian captivity. Should have trusted the Book of Mormon, Mormons. And thus it's prophecy and revelation, not literal history. And so, yeah, other things, when he was baptized, has an accompanying sign in the heavens. When he started his mission, or actually, well, I haven't checked that one. When he was in the Temple of Angels himself, getting the new name Nephi, because it was Nephi who came to visit Joseph Smith in the second vision, not Moroni. Joseph Smith makes that very clear. He's correcting Doctrine and Covenants 27, verse 5. But Willard Richards purposely wanted to screw it up so that he can justify inserting the false name of the Great and Abominable Church in the name of Joseph's church. Joseph Smith Papers should have studied, rather than just trusting your puppet masters. So everything testifies, prophesies, reveals the dates of the prophecies of this one guy. Talking also about Joseph Smith Jr. Everybody. So, in Matthew chapter 2, we have several different dates all combined into one. This is not the case. So pay attention, because this is the Dendera carving right here, Matthew chapter 2. This is what they're referring to. When Emmanuel, remember in verse 1, he's supposed to be named Emmanuel, and so they named him Jesus rather than Emmanuel, was born on the 23rd of September 2017, starting his ministry in Utah. Bethlehem is the star Spica in Virgo. It's referring to the sign given by Isaiah in the previous verse. It's a sign in the heavens. Matthew author takes out sign. And it could be the redactor of this document who added in the interpretation of Emmanuel, which is crap. Notice it's not in Isaiah. And so he most likely removed sign, which would explain why they named him Jesus. But This is not the original document, obviously. And so you have to put the original document, prophecy that they're referring to from Isaiah, fix this document. And so, yes, Revelation chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 5, which the Joseph Smith translation correctly moves verse 5 to verse 3, which is there in the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verses 8 through 10, 23rd September 2017. Right there at the beginning of the Book of Mormon. That's the beginning. That's the start of Lehi's ministry. That's the start of Emmanuel's ministry in the latter days to Utah, phonetically the same as Judah, Judea, and Matthew, because that's the Greek form. In the days of Herod the king, rather than Pharaoh of Egypt, rather than Zedekiah of Babylon. They're just using Herod here. Herod died in 7 BCE, or was it 4? It was one of the 5. And so, this can't be literal history, especially Christian botching of it. 25th of December for his birthday? What the hell are you guys thinking of? Dear God. I mean, yeah, the 25th of December has to do with the rising of Sirius, with the 3 wise men of Orion's belt. And so, yeah, look, there we go. There came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. And so, frankincense, gold, and myrrh are mummification gifts. And so where was Jupiter? Who is Emmanuel? Yeah, he was in Genesis. The dead one. The dead brother. He was born to die. And thus, Revelation 19, the lamb is to be sacrificed. Because Aries is the sacrificial lamb, and that's where Jupiter will be. And yes, the solar eclipse did occur in Pisces on the back of the white horse, the death sign. And so it's a different death sign back in 51 BCE. He's in Gemini of the dead brother rather than in Aries, which is where the king usurper is. Set, the brother of Osiris who murdered him, usurps the kingdom, usurps the throne. Herod, put on by a foreign government, Rome, rather than Babylon, is in charge of Judah. And so the religion had Caiaphas as the false prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints claims they're a restoration of Jesus' church that he established for the first time ever in the Roman period. Never was established before, despite all of Joseph Smith's claims that it began from Adam. Mormons just don't think. Dear God. They just trust whatever the prophets tell them and rewrite the manuals. It's all just like Pharaoh for Moses was a usurper of the throne. That's the pattern you're supposed to be paying attention to. Because the law of the Jews, Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19, a man like Moses, that Joseph Smith even talks about, the Book of Mormon talks about, everybody talks about it because it's the law of the Jews. Everybody has to conform and comply to the law. So everybody's conforming and complying to the law. This is David Moses II, he was born. And starts his ministry, depending on which date they're using. And so you see 23rd September 2017, you see 23rd December rather than 25th. But nonetheless, that's Joseph Smith's birthday, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, rising of him. But regardless of this, they then say the Dendera carving date. Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east. It's in the east of the United States of America, isn't it? But it's a prophecy. A long, long time ago prophecy. And so Herod is panicked because he knows that he's going to be replaced. He's Mars in Aries. And so thus the birth or the murder of the little babies, 2 years old and under, to make sure that he got them. So yes, prophecy, revelation, giving you the date. And so yes, we're looking for a future time period of the birth rather than the start of his ministry, although there was that too. But his start of his ministry is a birth sign. Revelation 12. He's born. But this is for his actual birth, the Dendera stone. And Mormons were supposed to be looking for him. They were looking for the signs in the heavens so that they may know him. I think it's Doctrine and Covenants, section 39, that after you're baptized, you are now looking for the signs of his coming, so that you may know him, because he's going to be among you. He will be Mormon. Alrighty, and so the birthday is 17th of March, 1970, already established as fact. It already happened. I found out who he is, and so I know exactly the information. I am the authority on it. So I know the conception, 10th of June, 1969. And so, the sign of his birth in the east, the star in the east, was on the 3rd or 7th of March, 1970. And David O. McKay had died in January, and a new king reigned on the throne of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Joseph Fielding Smith, Jr., the son of Joseph Fielding Smith, Sr., the son of Hiram Smith. It's prophesied by Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon that Hiram would be the bloodline for Messiah ben David, that Joseph Smith Sr. is the stem from which the two branches of the Christ would come. So Joseph Smith Jr. is Messiah ben Joseph, and Hiram is Messiah ben David in the future to restore Joseph's church. Because if you've been paying attention to my videos, Joseph Smith Sr. had to rewrite the 116 pages with Martin Harris stealing it. He is responsible. And so to give you the clue that it was 116 pages, Joseph Smith Sr. wrote as an alias name, William Morgan, the book by William Morgan about Freemasonry. It's not exposing Freemasonry and how it's evil. It's talking about how it's good. That they are a brotherhood. That they care for each other. They make sure that everybody is taken care of. And they take care of the Master Mason. It only goes up to Master Mason. Does not talk about the others. Doesn't talk about the Knights Templar. Doesn't expose that the Knights Templar came to America in 1363 and bought up the land where Zion is supposed to be at X marks the spot of the latter days this year. In put the Egyptian gold treasure plates in the caves of southern Illinois. Doesn't talk about any of that. Just simply, this is how it works. To be the first 3 degrees, these are the rituals for becoming those first 3 degrees, and then talking about the duties and responsibilities of the Master Mason. So that you would know it was Joseph Smith Sr. who saved America on 9/11/1826 and had to finish the Book of Mormon that William Morgan was trying to write. A warning for America that it's going to be destroyed in 2024 with a bloodbath. And also talking about 9th Ave. All of this ties together. This is why I've been doing my videos. You never thanked me for saving you from falling from the tree. Groundhog Day. And so Mercury is there with the sun. It's an eclipse. And it's Venus, right? Yep. Venus, solar eclipse, on the back of the white horse. Mercury is technically at the loins of Aquarius, the high priest symbol, giving the message of the birth, loins, of the Christ, Amen, sun god at noonday, who is to be born of Venus, which is the church, which is Isis, which is his actual mother. And then Mars is there in Aries, to be replaced. And it's Joseph Fielding Smith Jr., who is also a descendant of Hiram, but he's not to be the Christ. Some other Mormon is. To see how this is just freaky wild. The prophecy is that Hiram is to be the seed, Mercury, seed, for the Christ of Mormons in the latter days. And the one who takes over the throne in January is the seed of Hiram. But he's a naughty boy, because Joseph Smith Sr., Fielding Smith Sr., was also a naughty boy. He wrote The Way to Perfection, turning from Joseph Smith's 19 July 1840 that Mormons are supposed to save the Constitution from the 2020 election. Instead, Mormons went to the Capitol on January 6th to destroy the Constitution. There were Mormons in government who were destroying the Constitution. Oops. So yeah, the usurper got him. But another descendant of Hiram is about to be born in 10 more days. Symbol of completion and perfection. The atonement is about to begin for Mormons. Okay? And so, yeah, Jupiter is past Spica already, but then would be born. All from the Dendera stone. So, this is going to have to be put up later. Okay? So yes, the Dendera stone, it has some factual things that happened, and yes, it's also a prophecy of their Christ, and Joseph Smith made very clear, and it has been established as correct, because they've all happened. Because was there somebody sealed in the Los Angeles Temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on the 10th of June, 1969? Yes. Did they give birth to a surname Emmanuel? Yes. Is his first name He Who Is From the Crossroads? Yes. Was he born in the San Francisco Bay Area? Yes. Was his nativity in Oakland? Yes. Did he move to Michigan? Yes. Did he go to the top of the mountains and get the 5 Peaks Award? And then have a prophecy of, or it's actually a vision because it actually happened. There, the riverbed of the mountains of Utah, which was not Utah. Did that video the other day for you. Yes. Was he large of stature? Yes. Was he baptized on the 18th of March, 1978? Yes. Did he go to the Los Angeles Temple to become Christ with a new name, Nephi, on May 6th, 1989? Yes. These are the things you were supposed to be looking for, Mormons. Well, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints made you dumb. Purposely dumb to take you away from all this so that you would not know him, you would not find him, you would not look for him. And instead you would look for Jesus, who's the abominable Christ that Joseph Smith made very clear he is, that the Book of Mormon made very clear he is. What did you think the Great Spirit was talking about? Oh, Jesus is non-Trinitarian, is it? Really, that's all the first creed of Christianity has to have changed, is the nature and character of Jesus? Really? Nothing else is wrong, just the nature and character of Jesus being Trinity is wrong. Really? Is that it? The church made you dumb on purpose. So, alrighty. This is the thing. Bullies threaten you to deny truth. And if you fall for it, you've lost your honor and integrity. You've caved to the bullies. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are bullies. So if you continue to trust and believe in them, you have lost your honor and integrity. You've denied Joseph Smith as the founder. You've denied the Book of Mormon as your keystone. Because you're claiming to be illiterate now. Calling it another testament of Jesus Christ is blasphemy. It is heresy. It is abominable. 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. Learning of the Jews, pre-Babylonian captivity Egyptians. It's their religion, not Christianity. And so the Zoramites, they worship the Christian God in a synagogue of the Jews. They replaced the Jews. Christians replaced the Jews. The Lamanites refused to follow Nephi and began worshiping the Great Spirit of Christianity. Ta-da! So the abominable church, you're supposed to make the connection of abominable with Joseph Smith's first vision, verse 19. Christianity, abominable. Abominable church, Christianity. But it's a prophecy of the latter days after the 23rd of March, 23rd September 2017. Thus, Nelson. Nelson is baby name meaning Russell Marion, red star of the sea, Mars, Lucifer. So the Isaiah passage that's plagiarized in the Book of Mormon, which was only from the Latin Vulgate. No duh. Joseph Smith Sr. is prophesying to you to tell you that Russell Marion is going to take the throne of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints when it belongs to Emmanuel, he who is from the crossroads, the wagoner of the sun god at noonday. It's Wagoneer because the Vanguard Company took wagons rather than handcarts of the poor people whom Brigham Young trafficked to build up an army to go up against the United States of America for the latter days, to maintain his land. Thus 9/11/1857, Senator Lee's, their great-grandfather, who was also involved in that 1838 coup of Joseph Smith, murdered women and children to keep them out of Mormon land. We all know this, and yet Mormons still, knowing this, knowingly lie. So yeah, I have no idea why I'm trying to still save your life when we're here at the end. 9th Ave is 8 days away, and Mormons still will not hearken. Joseph Smith said, when he comes, hearken to him, or you will be utterly destroyed, precisely as it stands in our New Testament. And you still won't do it. And I got a bunch of people who are just looky-loos. Oh, well, when it happens, then I'll believe. When it happens, then you'll be dead, and it won't matter whether you believe or not. You failed. You didn't believe. You got to believe in advance. You've got to work to establish the word as correct, or dismiss it. You didn't do that for Jesus. And so you're being a couch potato, a fence sitter, lukewarm. You're not making your choice. You're not choosing who to follow. You're letting them do it for you so that you can be compelled in all things. Whoever wins, wins, and I'll follow them. Yeah, well, if the church wins, you will be in bondage. Your wife will be taken from you, and maybe you think that's a good thing. And your little teenage daughters will be taken and raped by a prophet, the Lord Jesus. And then you'll be put into slavery, while women will be sex slaves. No more education, no more mission, barefoot, pregnant, in the kitchen as a breeder year after year after year. I guess that's what women want. They want to be lazy learners and lax disciples. They don't want to have to work. Okay, so suffer with all the pregnancy that you'll go through. It's very uncomfortable, I understand, and very painful during the birth process. But what do I know? I'm just a guy. And so, yeah, it won't be tithing anymore. It'll be everything. Church will only give you what you need to exist and survive to be a slave. So have fun with that, because that's what you're pushing for. You'll end up getting it. But supposedly the church is setting things up to be destroyed on 9th Ave. So